Have you ever thinking about why prices tend to increase? It is because if money supply grows too big relative to the size of an economy, the unit value of the currency diminishes. In other words, purchasing power falls and price rise. All around the globe, every day, goods and services are getting more expensive. Rising costs are making life more difficult as they struggle to afford necessities. This situation obviously describes on how the cost of living is shaping people's behavior and purchasing habit. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. My name is Aina Marda binti Zailan, and today I want to share with you about the rising cost of living in Malaysia, understanding your financial standing. In this issue, we will be focusing on the financial management towards people and how they can adapt with the rising cost of living in our country. But before we go further, why not we look at our personal financial first? If you don't mind, I want you to imagine for a while how you manage your own financing, how you adapt with your spending for your daily expenses, weekly or even monthly. Do you ever make a budget or have your own financial management? However, I believe that all of you, of course, have the best financial planning for your future. First and foremost, what means the cost of living? Cost of living is defined as the amount of money required to cover necessary expenses to maintain a certain lifestyle standard in a particular place and time. Necessary expenses can include housing, food, tax, healthcare, education, communication, entertainment, and transportation. In Malaysia, the cost of living tends to increase from year to year. The amount Malaysians has spent on housing, water, electricity, and gas has increased 4.4 times from average 245 ringgit per month in 1993 to 1,068 ringgit monthly in 2019. As local houses price grew sharply in the early 2010, the amount of rent Malaysians pay has also increased. From groceries to going out, many daily items are more expensive compared with just a year or 2 years ago. Given that, we can only imagine how much cheaper things were 30 years ago. Now, I would like to share with you about my personal experience of having my own income. In the year 2017, I worked at one of the factory near in my house for about 7 months before I continue my studies. Basic salary that I gain at that time is 1,200 ringgit monthly. For me, that was a best feeling when you got your own salary. Am I right? What did I do with my money at that time is I spent it all without do any saving. I think that was the biggest mistake I have done about my financial management, because I literally spent it less than a month. I realized that my salary is not sufficient enough to cover all of my daily expenses, and I feel so hard to survive with the only money that I need to rely on. I am also wondering how if I have another commitment. For example, if I buy a car or anything that need me to pay for my monthly payment, honestly, I admit that it will give me a burden to adapt with the rising cost of living with my low income. From these things, we can strongly state how important the level of income and financial for living. In fact, the minimum wage should be a fair reflection of the approximation of the living costs. When we look at the wage growth in Malaysia, it does track a consistent path with inflation, more or less. According to statistics, and inflation rose, so did the wage growth rate on the most part. However, given the low base rate of salaries, a wage increment of 6% to 8% would only mean an additional 150 ringgit per year on average in absolute term. When inflation is taken into consideration, the real value of wages is further undercut. If you have been paying attention to your monthly grocery receipt or total bills at your favorite restaurant, you may have noticed the price increase. Inflation in Malaysia has increased by 3.4% compared to June 2021, with the highest recorded in food and non-alcoholic beverage 6.1% and transport 5.4% categories. The new ceiling price adjustment and loss of subsidies for food items as of July 1 are expected to further raise consumer prices. One-off monetary assistance for B40 households and singles was distributed to provide temporary relief, but it lacks the sustainability needed for citizens and truly overcome the cause of inflation. During with the impact of inflation, start with understanding how it translates to our day-to-day life, contributing factors and personal lifestyle changes we have to make as Malaysians. Malaysian inflation in November 2022 increased 4% as compared to the same month of the previous year. The inflation for the period of January until November 2022 increased 3.4% as compared to 2.3% for the same period in 2021. In addition, every country strives for a low inflation rate, which means the level of income leads to a purchasing power. By understanding the rate of price increase over time could help with one's personal money management. Here are a few tips on how to fight against inflation and ways to become financially independent in terms of understanding your financial standing. First, create a budget. Making a budget is the first and most important step of money management. Create a budget for your daily spending so that you can avoid avoid overspending. Moreover, you also need to have a budget for any expenses that you want to spend, especially when it comes to expensive things. For example, if you want to buy a phone, you must to ensure that the price is not exceed your budget. Be relevant with your own cash flow and spend based on your financial stability. Second, try to avoid loans and debts. One of the vital hacks on saving and becoming financially independent is to avoid loans, credits, and debts. Be smart when it comes to money. It might seem easy to get loan back, but in practice, you will face many challenges. Bear in your mind that never normalize to borrow money from anyone for an unnecessary thing. Think rationally before making any loan and make the right decision for yourself. Number 3, track and control your spending habit. Always set limitation in your expenses, and it is important to understand the ways and reasons of your spending daily and monthly. Do your best to keep your monthly expenses low. I recommend you to using special software that can automatically calculate your monthly budget and categories of spending. When it comes to online shopping, I know it is the very hard part to control your money. So, be smart in spend your money. Number 4 is diversify your investment. To maintain your purchasing power over the longer term, determine the right asset for your investment. Considering your income, expenses, risk tolerance, and time horizon, for example, consider a mix of commodities, treasury inflation protected securities, and equities to offer some security. Then, the last one is set financial goals. Write down one personal financial goal. Decide if your goal is short-term, mid-term, or long-term, and create a timeline for that goal. Be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Defining these parameters as they pertain to your goal helps ensure that your objectives are attainable within a certain time frame. If you're able to follow these 5 tips from me, I believe that you will feel a huge difference in your life. When you start managing your financial, you will have a better perspective of where and how you are spending your money. This can help you keep within your budget and even increase your saving with good personal finance management. You will also learn to control your money so you can achieve your financial goals. In conclusion, taking control of your money is an incredibly empowering feeling. They say, money makes the world go around. So, ensuring your bills, expenses, savings, and debts are all taken care of will help make your daily life is more smoothly. Having a financial safety net will give you a peace of mind that if something unexpected does happen, you will be able to handle it. As said by Robert T. Kiyosaki, if you don't know how to care for money, money will stay away from you. So, be a financially independent in order to create your best in the future. That's all from me. I really hope that my speech today will give you some value. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum.